week bitaw, we will be, or before I will start with my discussion, I will give first a post test, okay, with regards to the topic na I will be sharing with you right now. Okay, nakuha ba? So you need to listen carefully. So for this particular lesson, we will be dealing with web application security. This is actually a topic essential to, tawag ba dito? To information assurance and security, most particularly in cybersecurity. Okay? So this will be our general domain topic. And of course, meron siya mga kaakibat na, tawag dito, meron siya mga kaakibat na topics as well. Okay? So we're now going to start a new domain, which is web application security. This domain forms the cornerstone of cybersecurity. If you notice, a lot of organizations today are worried about securing their web applications because it directly impacts their business. Thus, understanding this domain and how it's being architectured is really important, especially on the perspective of cybersecurity. Okay, but before we delve into the details of the entirety of web application security, let's get to know first kung paano ba siya ginagawa or ano ba yung architecture na ginagamit nila as reference when they create a web application. Okay, tapos saan pumapasok sa security. So if you notice, sige daw din, can you see it guys? Ito yung architecture of a web application. Ito yung pinaka-common. It's not the standard, but it's usually the common one. And then usually, ito yung ginagamit natin. So, merong mga ibang capstone projects na I notice na gumagamit ng architecture na to, the architecture for client, front-end, tapos back-end. Okay? So, I think this is very familiar na sa inyo ha. But let's try to recap this one. So, we have here three components in a web application architecture. We have the client, we have the front end, and of course, the back end. Back end. So at one end of the application, we have the client. So clients are basically the users like you and me who access web applications using either your mobile application or the web browser. So for example, yung Chrome natin, Safari, or Firefox. Sige nga, before I start or proceed, let me ask you, how many of you check your social media before going to or before attending my class? Sige nga, you raise your hand if you check first your social media before you attend my class. You know, sino yung mga tao dito na let's try to do a survey. Sino yung mga tao na nag-check ng kanilang social media before attending my class? Sige nga. Ay, wag na lang hands up, thumbs up na lang, thumbs up. Sino yung mga thumbs up na kayo guys? If guilty kayo sa question na to, sige nga. Oh, guilty si Tyrone, si Adam, si Jake, si Rosalie. Sino ba yung mga guilty? Okay. I think everyone is guilty, man. Like, even me, before I did my class, I also check my social media because baka merong nag-PM, di ba? Or baka merong importanteng dapat ma-address. Okay? So that's for the client. So yung mga ginagawa natin, guys, together with our web application, that's the client, kumbaga, yung mga ginagawa natin, di ba? And then, yung pangalawa naman, we have what you call the front end. Now, the first major part of a web application is what you call the front end. Diba? This is the part you usually or you actually see and interact. So, ito yung, kumbaga, the website itself. Okay, the interface, kumbaga. So, it's mostly built with HTML, CSS, tapos JavaScript. So, alam naman natin na si HTML, siya yung nagbibigay ng structure. Si CSS naman is yung pagka-aesthetic niya or the thing that makes it look good. And of course, JavaScript adds interaction. Now, what do you think will happen to our application pag tinanggal natin yung JavaScript? Sige nga din. Sino yung pwedeng sumagot? What do you think, guys, will happen if tatanggalin natin si web application sa tawag dito, sa ano natin? Sa web application natin. What do you think will happen? Sige daw, be. Na pag wala talagang sasagot, guys, until 1 PM tayo dito. No problem with me. Hello? Who would like to answer my question? What do you think will happen if I will remove JavaScript in the web application natin? Anyone? Bakit walang makasagot, guys? Hello? Narinig ba ako, guys? Am I audible? Okay. Who would like to answer? Wala, gyud. Okay na po sa ako. Tamang tasa sa kwarto din, guys. I will not proceed with my discussion unless someone will answer. Yes, Benjo.
Dili mo work action, sir, like for example,
Ba't ka
submit,
nagbibisaya? Magtagalog ka
sir.
or mag-English ka?
Ay,
Magtagalog ka or mag-English ka?
sorry, sir. Hindi mag-work yung mga submit buttons like submit and add to cart, sir. Like ganun.
Okay. Okay. So, technically speaking, if tatanggalin natin yung JavaScript, yung interaction natin, yung mga, for example, yung mga alerts natin, yung mga event handling natin, di ba? Hindi siya gagana. So, your web application will become, it might function, but it's not that quite interactive. Okay? So, for that, Cabo Negro, meron kang point sa akin. Sige. Thank you for that answer. Okay. Now, let's proceed to the next one. So, yan yung magiging, natin ha, I will be asking questions and we really need to answer. So for naman, if you go back to the diagram, guys, if you notice in the middle of the client and the front end, we have what you call the internet, di ba? So technically speaking, yung interaction ng client tapos ni front end, it happens over the internet, di ba? So when client connect to the front end, they usually either connect via HTTP or HTTPS. Okay. Now, which do you think is better, the HTTP or HTTPS? Okay, would like to answer my question. Which one is preferred or mas okay na gamitin? Yung HTTP ba or HTTPS? Sige daw, okay? Yes, Mylem. Mylem.
Ang prefer po, sir, is ang HTTPS. Kasi naka-encrypted po yung
Very good.
Yung server.
Yes, it's encrypted. So, ibig sabihin, HTTP kasi, yung isa dito yung walang S, it just sends data in plain text. That means, if someone is monitoring the network, they can literally read the information you're trying to send. Pag HTTPS naman, on the other hand, encrypts the data. So, outsiders only see the gibberish part, di ba? Like, hindi nila alam kung ano yung mga sinend natin over. So, ang preferred talaga natin is really the HTTPS. Nagets ba? So, can you imagine, for example, di ba, you're logging into your online bank account but the site only uses HTTP, di ba? That's really risky. You are risking you are exposing, kumbaga, the possibility na merong makakaalam sa yung username, sa password mo, and even all other details, and even money galit, pwede nila gawaton, di ba? That's why we always recommend HTTPS. Gets ba? Now, let's go naman to the back end. Ito. Behind the front end is what we call the back end. This has two important layers. The first one is the business logic layer, and then the second one is the database layer. The business logic is, of course, based doon sa business process na isang organization or isang business. Okay? It receives requests from the front end and processes them. So, for example, when you log into your school portal, the front end will send your username and then your password to the business logic. The business logic will then check if those credentials are correct and decides whether to let you in or not. Okay? Usually, this is facilitated by any framework, a web framework. For example, yung pinakasikat na ginagamit natin for this one is PHP. Diba? Kasunod naman ng business logic is what you call the database layer. Okay? So, deep behind the business logic layer, we have the database layer. This is where all of the sensitive information things like username, password, and credit card, and even health records or student grades are being placed here. Now, let's try to go back with our info assurance one natin na topic. It says here na they consider health records to be sensitive information. Bakit kaya, guys? Who can answer me? Why do we think, or why do you think health records are to be considered a sensitive information? Okay. Anyone? Anyone? Hello? Why do you think yung health records? Bakit kaya si health records? Bakit sa health records sensitive daw? Is equivalent to sensitive. Bakit kaya, guys? Bakit? Hello? Yes, Dan Derek.
In my opinion, sir, health
Go.
record is is sensitive because makaano po siya sa maka-discriminate po siya sa
Very
sa
good.
information ng tao.
Okay. Thank you, Dan Derek, for that answer. So, health records are considered to be sensitive information because it will affect either the judgment or the decision of any person trying to treat the other person. Like, for example, if meron akong sakit, di ba, of course, I don't want to tell it to anybody. But then, it could either be used as a leverage or it could either be used against me. So, it would be better if really the health records to be as confidential as possible. Health records are only to be shared to the doctor or to the immediate family. Again, mayroon tayong term na immediate family. Ibig sabihin, yun lang talagang within the first level of the family member. Di ba? Bawal na yung mga auntie natin, mga ano natin, di ba? Let's stick it or let's have it available to our immediate family members only. Okay? Remember also as well na sa database layer is considered to be the most important because clients are never allowed to directly access the database. Diba? Instead, all of requests must pass through the front end and the business logic before reaching the database. Para kang nasa, like for example, let's say for example, yung nasa bank vault, okay? Customers don't go directly into the vault to grab their money. For example, pag withdraw ako, ang ginagawa is that the teller or the system goes inside for them. That's how we protect sensitive data. Now, let me highlight, guys, there is a very important thing. Let's all remember this one. Itong part na ito, bitaw. Saan ba yun? Disappearing. This part here, itong sa database na layer natin, let's always remember na yan yung pinaka-importante. Okay? Hackers are not usually interested in your pretty HTML or the animations on your website. What they really want is the database. Di ba? Because that's where the valuable information is stored. So if there is any weakness in your front end or in your business logic, hackers will really exploit it to get to the database. And once they're in, they can either steal or modify or even delete your data. And we don't want that one to happen. Diba? Next, let's talk naman about OWASP. So ang ibig sabihin ng OWASP, ilalagay ko siya sa in-call messages natin para alam nyo kung anong ibig sabihin. You have it here, guys. Ang ibig sabihin ng OWASP is Open Web Application Security Project. Okay? Ano mang ginagawa nila dito? So this is actually a non-profit community dedicated to improving the security of the software, especially web applications. You can easily access their website where they provide a wealth of free resources. So ang ginagawa nila dito is that they are providing us with a guidelines checklist kung ano yung mga considered to be as risky in terms of the development of a software or a web application. So at its core, OWASP advocates for secure development. They even publish guidelines, best practices, and recommendations that help developers build applications with security in mind from the very beginning. Bakit why did they emphasize this one? Because usually yung practice kasi ni tawag dito, ni developer is that mag-develop na tayo. Later na yan, like parang nagiging add-on lang bitaw or optional sa security, which is not a good practice daw, according to OWASP. So, first things first, kinakailangan natin na when we do or when we create our application, it's not always like the process only. Let's also think of the security of their information, di ba? So that's one of the advocacy of OWASP. Kinakailangan guys na yung security comes along during from planning pa lang and then development and then even post-development, di ba? So one of the most valuable contributions of OWASP is their ability to highlight the common security risks that plague web applications today. They just don't talk about problems. They also provide practical strategies and tools to fix them. So although OWASP covers all aspects, okay, of the web application, much of their focus is really on the back end, diba? That is the most important part of your application that hackers often try to penetrate in order to steal sensitive data or disrupt services. So for students like you guys and for professionals like me, if we talk about cybersecurity, OWASP is an essential resource. And if you're planning to work in cybersecurity, you will really hear more of it. Like you will always hear about OWASP, a top 10. Okay, it's like really a checklist of the most common and most damaging mistakes developers make. Again, ang pinipinpoint nila dito is yung mga common and most damaging mistakes developers make. Okay. So in short, OWASP gives a roadmap. It tells us where the biggest risks are, how hackers are exploiting them, and of course, how we can defend against them. And that is why, if you're serious about cybersecurity, OWASP is a name that you cannot afford to ignore. Okay, so kung interested ka in this particular career field, you need to really embrace yourself or immerse yourself with OWASP. Am I clear? Sige daw, thumbs up daw if clear ba yung instruction na binigay ko. Okay, I think that's clear. Next, let's now proceed with OWASP Top 10. Okay, ito is preview lang sila dito guys. Preview lang siya dito and then there will be separate topics for this one. For example, next week, ang i-discuss ko is yung how do I demonstrate SQL injection. Okay, so now that we've introduced OWASP, let's take a closer look at to some of the top 10 vulnerabilities. Okay, some of this like SQL injection and cross-site scripting are extremely common, so we'll be spending more time on them. Okay, others will cover more briefly, but as future cybersecurity professionals, it's important for you to at least have a solid overview of how they work. So let's start with SQL injection. So the first one is what you call SQL injection. And the basic idea is something like a website has input fields such as username and password. So instead of typing in normal information, an attacker enters a malicious SQL statement. That input gets passed directly into the application's database query. And then the result, the attacker can trick the database into revealing, modifying, or even deleting sensitive data. Okay? So for example, in a login form natin, example lang ito guys, a hacker could enter a specifically crafted input that bypasses the password check entirely. So why does this happen? Because of poor programming practices. Like for example, failing to validate input, not using secure or parameterized queries. Okay? So always remember, never trust your user input. Always sanitize and use safe coding practices. For for this particular vulnerability, ang tinatarget niya dito is yung mga available forms that will directly link or have a communication with the business logic layer and of course doon sa backend. Okay. Now, we also have here the cross-site scripting or XSS. So this happens when an attacker injects a malicious scripts into a website. So for example, I don't know if you are familiar with forum, di ba? Sino yung nababasa dito ng threads? Sige daw, be. Sino yung mga nababasa ng threads? Ang spelling ng threads, sir? Threads, ano pa ba? Di? Ito lang, I think pinaka-common dito is yung Reddit. Okay? Sa Reddit, meron silang forum or meron silang community bitaw. Reddit is really a good forum for anything. Like meron silang iba't ibang communities, mas flourish sila doon. So let's say for example, Reddit is a forum, di ba? So a user then creates a new thread, but instead of posting text, they post a piece of JavaScript code. Now every time another user visits that thread, the malicious script executes it in their browser. So what can that script do? Marami po. It can steal cookies and session information. It can redirect users to fake plugins or even hijack accounts. Again, the cause of this one is yung lack of input validation. Wala itong form handling. Diba? Like say for example, instead na yung you will lessen bitaw the risk. Like for example, if the input field will really look for an email format type, kinakailangan yung mga special characters, hindi siya included. The only special character na dapat i-allow lang is underscore, yung at na symbol, tapos .com. The rest na din dapat, it should be restricted. Okay, it should not be allowed. Gets ba? Okay. Now, we also have here what you call broken authentication. Ano ibig sabihin ng broken authentication? This means, like for example, this is actually a flaw in a web application that manages login and user sessions. For example, ang pinaka-common talaga, sige daw let me ask you para bigay ako ng ibang points. Ano kaya yung pinaka-common na username and password according sa research? Sige nga, who would like to answer? Ano kaya yung pinaka-common na username and password? Default password kumbaga na ginagawa. Yes, Kuyugan.
Ano sir? Password din sir.
Password din. How about the username?
Ano sir? Admin.
Wrong combination. Sige. Sino pa? Sige daw Who would like to find? Yan yung pinaka-common talaga, guys. Hello? Nga, sino pa? Aside sa sinabi ni Jake. Sabi ni Jake kasi, ang pinaka-common daw is admin tsaka yung password. Ano nga? Si daw let's have Abualin.
Yes, then, sir. For me, sir, most common, sir, is yung email or ano niya is, yung ginagamit niya is yung name niya, then yung password is yung number na 1 up to 10, yung ganun.
Okay. Nice try, but hindi rin. This is actually according to sige daw Carl, Sige daw, Carl.
Ano sir, admin tsaka yung password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hindi rin. Okay, thank you. Sige daw Let's have Benjo. Wag ka na Benjo kasi naka-answer ka na kanina. Santo. Let's have Santo.
For me sir is yung nickname at saka surname sir ng user.
Hindi rin. Sige daw Okay, sirit na ba guys? Actually, sige, thank you guys for your participation. Sige, let's have last one. Kalikunan. Sige daw Kalikunan
Sa username sir is common talaga ginagamit is user and the password is password din.
Okay. Ang pinaka-common talaga guys, according to OWASP is that. Wait lang Type ko na lang guys para meron kayong reference. Ang pinaka-common talaga guys is admin ang username. Tapos yung password din niya is admin. Familiar sa inyo guys? Diba? Admin. Okay? So, yan yung pinaka-common daw na pinaka-common according to them na username and password. So, what makes this one a risk? Okay? So, for example, some sites actually uses default admin passwords. Yun na nga, yung sinasabi ko, admin, di ba? So, imagine, for example, yung WordPress na website. At tapos, lagyan lang natin na username na admin. Or it could either be admin tapos password na po dayon, di ba? So with that kind of approach, you are like leaving the front door of your house wide open, di ba? Broken authentication can also happen if session tokens are predictable or not properly secured. Attackers can either hijack these sessions and impersonate users. For example, ano yung ginagawa nila dito? So they don't, meron tayong tinatawag na cases bitaw na access through URL. Like they will just input bitaw a certain format for the URL tapos they can get inside the dayon without going to the session. Okay? So ano yung, sino yung i-blame dyan? I-blame natin is yung programmer kasi hindi siya naglagay ng session controller sa dito sa ating iba't ibang pages, di ba? So kinakailangan, for example, lugar, ang login page, di ba? Maski pag di ko mag-username o password, I will just do some configuration sa URL, makaproceed na rin ko din sa homepage dayon, di ba? That is not correct, di ba? Dapat din na siya may tabo, okay? So another one po gyapon is that di ba usually or technically speaking when our web application is really required to create accounts bitaw, yung ginagawa ng yung practice ng industry where I usually remember is that binibigyan nila ng default bitaw na username and password, but then upon logging it in is nire-require nila na i-change yung password. Have you tried that one? Sige daw din. Thumbs up daw if nakatry mo dana. Like you are given with a default username and password. Tapos, okay, si Bolivar, si Amparo, diba? They require you dayon to change your password. So munang one of the fix na ilang gina-practice kumbaga. Yung pang-apat naman, we have what you call sensitive data exposure. Anong dito? So, sometimes, web applications, not sometimes, but oftentimes good, either they store or transmit sensitive information. Like, for example, yung password natin, yung credit card numbers natin, di ba? If that data is not properly protected, for example, even if it's stored in plain text, di ba? Or sent over an unencrypted connection, attackers can really steal from it. Okay? So let's tawag dito. When we are handling bitaw sensitive data information, everyone is really required to treat it as sensitive as possible. Like for example, yung sa password bitaw, that's why gali yung default bitaw natin sa password na input field, it's really password. Diba? Para bitaw, pag ipapasok natin siya sa database, hindi yung plain text yung papasok. Ang papasok doon sa database is yung naka-hash na. Diba? Built na talaga yan ni HTML5. Okay? That's why you need to really be very particular about that one. Next, from that one, we have what we call XML external entities na attack. Okay? So, let's try to understand first what is XML. Okay? XML, guys, is not a programming language. Okay? It's a language used for structuring data that will be understood by any other or by all platforms. Okay, think of it as a universal format that allows different applications, even those built on different platforms, to exchange information in a consistent manner. For example, you would want to share your user data between two applications. You can put this one into an XML file and then send it across. And because XML is standardized, the receiving application knows exactly how to parse and understand it. Ibig sabihin ng parse is that it's the process of encoding and decoding. Okay, yan yung, kumbaga, when we do XML, meron siyang tinatawag na XML parser. The XML parser can either be a template or something that you configured it as well. Okay, now, what happens in an XXE attack? Okay, the problem actually really arises when the XML parser is considered to be as weak, okay? If it's not properly secured. If the parser is weak, guys, an attacker can insert a malicious entity inside the XML file. And then when the vulnerable parser processes it accidentally reveals sensitive files on the server. It could either, pwede din na it can send data to unauthorized locations or even allow remote code execution. In simple terms, ang ginagawa dito ng mga attacker is that they don't go after your message. They go after to the one who parses the message, yung XML parser. Okay? So, ang practice lang dito is that you need to, when you configure your XML parser, it should still be aligned with the standard para bitaw ang security niya dili bitaw ma-compromise. Okay? So I think you will have that one in your web technologies. Try natin if your instructor can provide you with inputs about that one. Now, we have yung pangalawa, ay yung pang-anim pala, we have what we call broken access control. This broken access control talks about two things. We have authentication tapos authorization. Who can answer? Anong pagkakaiba ng dalawa? Sige daw din. Anong pagkakaiba ni authentication tapos authorization? Sige nga. Ano yung pagkakaiba? Hello? Okay, let's have Alexis. Alexis?
Ang authentication, sir, is mag-verify siya kung saan user.
Mag-Tagalog kayo, ha?
Yung authentication po is bine-verify niya kung sino yung user, while ang authorization is dinidetermine niya ang user of allowed ba ito siya sa access na ito.
Tapos authentication, ay si authorization.
Ano po,
Ano
authorization? Yun na po. Kaiba.
Again nga.
Ang authentication po is nag-verify siya kung sino yung user, while yung authorization is dinidetermine niya if allowed ba yung user na mag-access sa ano.
Okay, that's correct. So when we say authentication, it usually answers the question, are you really who you say you are? Diba? So this is usually done by collecting the username and password. Okay? Yung authorization naman answers the question, what are you allowed to do once you log in? So for example, a normal user may only view their account while an administrator can add or delete users. Diba? So broken access control happens when the application fails to enforce these rules. That means a regular user might be able to perform administrative level actions. And bawal yan, guys. Diba? So paano ito nangyayari? Merong tatlo. The first one is that they manipulate the URL. Yung sinabi ko kanina bitaw. Pangalawa, they edit the hidden fields in a web page. Yung iba, basta meron silang mga ibang kumbaga, they have their own ways, kumbaga. Or directly calling functions they're not supposed to access. I'll give you an example for the manipulating the URLs. So for example, you have a website. Sa in-call messages natin ni example, www.nepali.com. Okay? Yan yung natin. So usually, sa ating local host natin, di ba? For example, sa local copy pa, ang ginagawa natin is that to get inside this one, usually ito yung nasa directory natin, di ba? Yan yung kumbaga yung sa login page natin. Sometimes, because of poor programming and poor routing skills bitaw, like hindi bitaw nila nalalagyan ng proper routing yung web application natin, pag maglalagay ka lang dyan ng nepali.com/admin.php, you are now redirected na dayon to the dashboard for admin. Okay? Merong mga ganyang cases, guys. And most likely, it's really because hindi siya na notice ng developer. Okay? So, that's what happens then is that even if I only have a regular account, ang nangyayari is that I get to access ang tawag dito, administrative level na functionalities. Okay? Another vulnerability is yung tinatawag nating security misconfiguration. Ano ibig sabihin ng misconfiguration? Ibig sabihin, the application is not properly set up. Okay? Para din siyang yung ano bitaw, yung kanina bitaw na ginamitan lang din ng default na password. Ito naman, ang nangyari dito is that it was not properly configured. Okay? Think of it as parang you are just leaving your windows and doors unlocked, di ba? Nakalock siya, but then anyone can access it, di ba? You don't intend to do it, but attackers can walk right into it. For example, ang pinaka-common good bitaw nga akong na-experience kay, a web server that accidentally allows users to browse directories that should be private. Ano ibig sabihin nun? For example, on my account, di ba dapat ang nakikita ko lang is yung activity logs ko. Now, there are times na pag mali yung pagka-configure ng server, yung activity logs ng isang user is nasi-share sa ibang user. Okay? Anong fault dyan? Yung fault dyan is yung pag-configure ng either tawag dito, yung directory na server or any other server that is assigned to that particular function. Okay? Now, ano pa ba dito yung mga ibang example? Default accounts and passwords might be left enabled. Diba? Yung mga naka-autocomplete bitaw, guys. That's why in security, in information assurance and security, it should really be like, diba, in HTML, we have autocomplete. Dapat talaga naka-off talaga yan, guys. Para walang idea yung anyone, diba? So that anyone will not have an idea kung sino yung, or ano yung account na last na nag-login, di ba? I don't know if you have tried autocomplete off sa HTML. Nakatry mo, guys? Wala. Kabantay bitaw mo, guys, pag input box bitaw, mas wala kay gi-click. Pag imo na siyang i-drop down, kaya nasa suggestion dayon. The suggestions are your previous entries. So to do that one or to disable that one, you just put sa yung HTML tag bitaw, autocomplete off para di siya mag-suggest. Okay? That's one thing to implement as well. Another is that incorrect error messages. For example, the default error messages should only tell the user na sayop siya. It will not tell the user asa siya na sayop. For example, meme ato kung akong nabasahan man siguro na nag-type siya og username and password and then the error message said then the username is correct but the password lacks 2 digits. Di ba? So ibig sabihin makaka-idea na si attacker na okay yung password niya pala is not 8 but 10. Di ba? So pag it's considered to be a misconfiguration because it provides avenue to attackers kung paano password is already used by Dan Derek Bumutad. Pero inanagyapon mo nang so guilty bita na usahay kay, di ba, when we do bitaw development in our local machine, kaning any ba, gusto ba ito makitaan if nakuha ba gid niya ang value o wala. So sometimes, agka-push na sa production, meaning sa live server, and di na siya correct yun. So I do hope you can you can practice that one nga dapat dili siya inatugid. Dapat standard lagi siya nga error message. Okay? Kaya sud kistanan. Another pod gyapon misconfiguration if it also tells sige nagali the other way around. For example, instead bitawng error, I don't know if you've noticed this one na di ba pag error it should really be red. Pero kala green lagi siya lagi. Di ba? In the brain of any human, pag red talaga, that's wrong. Pag green, it means success, or pag blue, success, diba? So dapat, pag red, it should really be an error. Nagets nyo ba? Guys, that's another misconfiguration na po na siya on the side of the front end na po gyapon. Okay? Next, the last one for this slide is what we call insecure deserialization. Anong ibig sabihin ng insecure deserialization? So, technically speaking, the two terms, you might sound or it might sound complicated, but the basic idea is that inani, when you say serialization, it's when an object in programming language, for example, ang student na object, di ba? Or student na record, it has fields like ID, name, grades. Ang ginagawa dyan is that it will just be converted into a simple byte and then it will be sent over the network. So deserialization naman, ang ginagawa niya is yung kabaligtaran, di ba? It reverses the process where the receiving system takes the byte and then reconstructs the original object para masabtan niya. Okay? More na siya. Serialization, converting an object to a byte, tapos si byte, this serialization dayon is converting byte into an object para masabtan sa nagdawat. Okay? Now, where is the danger in this part? So the danger comes when an attacker sends a maliciously crafted object. Okay? When the vulnerable application tries to deserialize it, the malicious code inside can execute, potentially giving the attacker an unauthorized access or control. Mura bitaw kana bitong sige nagali kanang nagpadala bitaw ka or you are expecting a gift of chocolates but instead ang giabot kay bomba. Di ba? Mura inana ang concept sa insecure deserialization. So, what's your takeaway for this one? Anong gagawin natin? Never deserialize untrusted sources. Okay? Pag hindi siya part or hindi siya part doon sa list of sources mo, do not accept it or do not deserialize it para safe tayo, di ba? Wala man yung mangyayari unless you deserialize it. Okay? We have here as well yung pinaka-last, guys. We have only the last two. The first one is what you call using components with known vulnerabilities. Ano tong example dito? Wait mo na ha. Ba't ayaw matagal itong admin? Okay, yan. Now, for using components with known vulnerabilities, I don't know if you have tried this one. I think everyone is doing it kay para bitaw sa yun. Okay? So, ang ginagawa dito is that because nobody wants to reinvent bitaw, like paulit-ulit. So for example, nakatapos ako na isang project. Tapos yung this second project is somewhat like similar to the first one. So what I will do is that I will just reuse existing components. For example, gagamitin ko kung anong ginamit ko na framework, ano yung libraries na ginamit ko, o yung mga third-party plugins. Bakit? For me to save time. Diba? But the problem is that there are some certain components that are vulnerable, and then ang nangyayari is that your application, your newly created application inherits that vulnerabilities. I'll give an example. Meron tayong tinatawag na JavaScript library, or ito na lang, para talaga we have what we call WordPress login. Okay? So usually, developers just download this because they're free, they're popular, and of course, it will make your work faster. For example, si WordPress nga plugin, instead of creating a function that will send bitaw an email to my customer every time they fill out, ang ginagawa dyan is that they will just get a plugin to do that particular function. Okay? Kasi nga, libre yan, di ba? Now, ang nangyayari dito is that when the plugin is being compromised, okay, and for example, hindi na siya updated, attackers can exploit it and compromise your whole application. Diba? Since, remember, it's free ba ya? And then may limitation siya. So sometimes kasi, yung mga free, nagiging free yung mga library, nagiging free yung plugin. Alam niyo kung bakit siya free? It's because kayo yung ginagawang testing. Diba? Okay, free na mo ni siya di. And then, let's try sa feedback sa mga nagamit. Diba? So, ang ending, your web application na ginagawa is nagiging at risk, nagiging vulnerable. Okay? Nagets ba yung purpose, guys? So, ibig sabihin, it's not okay to use same components from your previous project tapos i-apply mo siya sa bagong project mo. Okay? For example, yung mga ginawa natin noon sa integrative programming ng mga components, it should not be, it should not be used dito sa capstone natin kasi nga hindi natin alam, di ba? And totally, hindi naman sila, although pareha sila sa CRUDs, di ba? But then again, meron ng mga specific and special requirements si Capstone. Nagets ba natin? Okay. Next, we have what you call insufficient logging and monitoring. So ideally, meron tayong tinatawag na history logs. Ano yung history logs? Para siyang activity logs bitaw, guys. The history logs will record all of the things that is happening inside your system. And I will require that one in your Capstone project. Okay? Anong ginagawa dito sa history logs? It monitors or it provides bitaw a non-biased, pure technical recording of ano yung nangyayari. Like for example, si Kuyugan nag-login on this si Buscado opened or requested for a full view of the list of products. So lahat ng nangyayari sa system, it's being monitored. What's the purpose of that one? The purpose for that one is accountability and transparency. Pangatlo, it's also for prevention, di ba? So pag meron kayong history logs, it would mean na you are able to monitor ano yung mga nangyayari, di ba? Sino ang dapat i-blame just for in case, di ba? And of course, yung pangatlo bitaw is yung for knowing what are possible bitaw nga mga attacks. Kaya in a very normal na history logs, it would really be seldom nga nagid bitaw yung mag-move away sa regular na ginabuhat, di ba? So by that time, prevention is already being in place na dahil nga, okay, this particular user is trying to do other things aside from the regular one, di ba? Like, for example, he's trying to bypass a certain process. So, the history log will address that one. Nagets nyo ba, guys? So, ideally, web applications have proper logging mechanisms to record, for example, attempts, errors, and suspicious activities. But remember, itong history logs na sinasabi ko, it should not be shown to the user. Okay? Yung iba na ginagawa is that they let you view your activity log. Diba? Bakit hindi siya pwedeng ipakita talaga sa user yung mga nangyayari? Because hackers could use this particular bitaw na function to discover weakness in your system. Okay? So, instead, all of the logging and monitoring should really happen at the back end. This ensures that you can detect attacks early. If needed, you can conduct even a forensic investigation later on. So again, remember, without proper logging or monitoring, attackers remain invisible until pa rin mo may buanday nga, ay hala, I'm being attacked naman di, but I did not notice it. Ang purpose, the very purpose of providing a logging and monitoring in your system is for you to notice any discrepancies. Okay? Sige. So that ends our top 10 vulnerabilities for OWASP. I would like to clarify lang bitaw na hindi ibig sabihin, kasi di ba the list is dynamic, ibig sabihin it's changing from time to time. Like karon muna ang top 10, pagdating ng bukas, magiging iba na naman siya. So, ano yung nangyayari guys? They remove aspects or vulnerabilities which are already being addressed by the industry. Diba? So for example, pag it's no longer considered to be, like for example, si SQL injection, pag hindi na siya talaga vulnerable, ibig sabihin, most of the developers are already practicing SQL injection, practices that avoids or lessens SQL injection. Diba? So, pag hindi siya below sa top 10, ibig sabihin, it's not removed from the list, it's just na nilagay lang siya sa ibang place kasi it's no longer that quite risky. Okay? So again, nagbabago ang list guys. Depende na yan kung merong bago. Like for example, may nag-mainstream na naman na bagong type of vulnerability, then definitely they will really update it. But from time to time, top 10 talaga yung minibigay nila. Nagets ba? Okay. Do we have any other questions guys before I will dismiss you? Okay, parang walang question. Kung walang question, please give me a thumbs up. Okay, I think that's clear, diba? Again, pasensya guys, our regular class will really be 10 a.m. Kanina lang talaga na-extend kami kasi I need to talk to the section, okay? So kung anong question, can I request everyone to please turn on your camera for our documentation? Okay. Please be reminded